Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, a lot of the issues that I was going to highlight in this question has already been covered. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wanted to use this opportunity to highlight some of the issues that were raised when I made the ministerial statement by Honourable Randondro. In respect of the FNPF advisors, Mr. Speaker, sir, because this relates obviously to the sale, the questions have been asked about the paucity of the transaction itself. FNPF had advisors. They had BDO Australia as their financial advisors. The legal advisors were Ashurst from New Zealand. The technical advisors were Clarity, and the local legal counsel R. Patel Lawyers, Mr. Speaker, sir. So obviously all of these internationally based companies, out of the 4 of them that they used, have obviously their own professional indemnity cover too. So nobody would be giving any false information regarding that. And obviously there's a lot of thorough assessment and due diligence carried out, so Honourable Randondro does not know what he's talking about. In respect of the, regarding the actual sale, Mr. Speaker, so if the Honourable members were listening, I had mentioned that the sale price, the final sale price will be determined based on the actual tariff increase, or should there be a tariff increase at all. So should, for example, FCCC make a pronouncement that there should be no tariff increase at all, then the 220 price would come down to about $202 million because there's a pricing factor that's been put into that. So all of that depends on the pricing factor, and as I said, this needs to be completed by way of the tariff increases that has been carried out. The other point that I also wanted to raise, Mr. Speaker, sir, was about the landowners. We've actually elucidated this point about the participation of landowners as equal partners right from day one. When the Monosavu landowners were actually approached by the then Alliance government, Mr. Speaker, sir, we can all agree that the landowners did not get a fair deal at all. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, they were paid peppercorn rent, which led them, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the late 1990s and the 2000s to actually take the matter to court. The Honourable Leader of Opposition was the Prime Minister then, and obviously subsequently the SDL leader was then the Prime Minister. They did not assist them at all. In fact, it was the court that made a ruling where they had a ruling that said that the landowners should be paid $54 million, Mr. Speaker, sir. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir, that $54 million is spread over a very, very long period of time. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also elucidate, because they've raised this time and time again, and we've been told them time and time again. They were paid peppercorn rent. There was no fee paid in terms of the amount of electricity generated from the waters that were used from there. And again, Mr. Speaker, sir, they did not have access to electricity themselves. No electricity until the Bainimarama government came in, and then they got the electricity. For decades, they saw electricity cables over their villages without any electricity. Mr. Speaker, sir, also, those landowners who are now connected to the electricity also have been given shares if they've applied for it, the 250 shares that they will all get. So they also have become shareholders. Now, if they're also working and they are members of FNPF, they've now also become indirectly members of the shareholding group of EFL, Mr. Speaker, sir. And Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also quote the figures. So, they are paid 60 cents per megawatt per hour is paid to TLTB for landowners in the generation of electricity. And again, Mr. Speaker, that relates to Monosavu. Again, royalty payments are paid in respect of Nandari Batu. So I would urge the honourable members, please don't misrepresent facts. These types of payments weren't made before. Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, the lease payments have also now increased through EFL. EFL is paying them a more reasonable amount of rental for the leasing of those lands. These have been obviously brought to the attention of this House on a number of occasions, Mr. Speaker, sir. The sale, Mr. Speaker, sir, we're quite keen that the sale has taken place, but we're quite keen, Mr. Speaker, sir, to get some strategic partners. The Honourable Member has asked about EFL, and Mr. Speaker, sir, EFL has also now formed a subsidiary company, which is obviously open to participation. It's called Renewables Fiji. Renewables Fiji is going to go out, and Honourable Minister for Waterways is absolutely right. There is a lot of money out there in the international market. We need to be able to package ourselves properly, get the right projects in place. All other countries do it. Recently, for example, Brazil was able to, in terms of carbon credits, get about in excess of $90 million for the carbon credits in the Amazon jungle, that particular area. All other countries are doing it. Fiji should be able to do that, not just in the carbon space, but also in the space of renewables, in the space of waterways management, because countries do want to help, because these are very positive developmental issues that we need to take advantage of. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
All right, thank you.